All right, we're both obliged to thank you for staying with us on your number one television program, TMI. We quickly bring you our first segment, and of course, our guests are already seated in the studio. Sitting close to me is Rich Rose Ben Imazwe. She's a relationship coach and a therapist. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, viewers.
All right, sitting next to her is Wisdom Elder, the National Coordinator of Grassroots Mobilization for Good Governance, Youth Activist and Public Affairs Analyst. Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And of course, I have my colleague. Together, we'll be talking with them. Now, recently, the state government came up and said, no more commercial sex workers in the state. And there have been a lot of backlash from some quarters over time because of the decision of the state government. So let me start with you now. You are a relationship coach, you are a therapist. What is your take on this?
Well, I'll say that decision by the government is a good one, but it's something that I feel the government should have to sit down and reason very deep before making conclusions, because these sex workers are real people, and I, as a relationship coach and therapist, have been opportune to talk to
interface with them.
Yeah, they have their issues. They have their issues. So I think if the government will come up to say, okay, we don't need these people again, we are telling them now to leave and all of that, they should put structures on ground. I mean, real people that will talk with these people and proffer solution. Okay. I still feel just telling them, okay, you have to go, we don't need you, we don't need this again. It's not just it. What do we do? What's the problem of these people? How do we help them? And the structure should be on ground. I mean, if we will say, okay, the bandits are going to be rehabilitated, I think these people also should be rehabilitated.
Okay.
Okay, and as a relationship coach, you said you've had some kind of, interface with these ladies. Now, in your years of being a relationship coach, what have you noticed, to be one of the reasons that lead a lady to go into prostitution?
Okay, I would say there's no reason that is good enough to go into prostitution, but many of them have reasons. They have cogent reasons for that matter. For example, I remember some time ago in Abuja, a place where some of these sex workers use it for business was, they were asked to pack out of that place. And then many of them, they left. But there was this particular one that had no place to go. And so she took her belongings, put it in front of this apartment. And the people that lived there came and like, no, you have to leave. We don't want you here. You are this, you are that. But there was this couple that decided, no, let's see how we can take this girl in. They took her in, and then they were able to help this girl. She became somebody that was of huge help to the society at the end of the day. So this girl was asked, what exactly is the reason why you are doing this? She said she does not have father, she does not have mother, she has some siblings, she's the eldest. And she's like, oh, what will I do to be able to help out? So there was no other thing that to go into prostitution, with which has been using to help.
So you are saying that they actually have reason to justify?
They have reasons, but there's no reason that is good enough to go into.
So really not justified.
Okay, let's now come to Wisdom Elder. Do you share in her thoughts in her opening statements?
Okay, I think to an extent, yes, because I see the government trying to take up an action abruptly without making proper preparation towards the necessary steps on how to go about it. First of all, we know that when you want to take a decision that affects the people, then you have to prepare some ameliorative measures. You have to have a plan, you have to have stages of your projects in order to address such issue, and then so that these people will have options and they will have alternative. They will also have sense of belonging to the society.
But talking about optional and alternative, some of them have something they do. I've had opportunity to interface with them too before we came here this morning.
It's part of it.
They have good and source of income. But some just do this for the fun of it.
It's part of the process. Okay. There are processes of reorientation. Then there are processes of empowerment. Then there are processes of rehabilitation. Now, those people, there was a time Fashola wanted to take these hoodlums from the streets. And then he had a very serious plan for them. So immediately they could pick a whole lot of them to a camp where they were rehabilitated. But what you see now is there's nothing like that. There's no plan for rehabilitation, there's no camp or settlement area, and there are no specialists that has been consulted who are going to give proper solution on how these things can be handled properly. So the only action that we are seeing is the only action that government has always given in recent times to such kind of issues. And it makes people not to actually belong, because some of the people that patronize these people are still in government. Some of the people who...
But you never can tell, you're not too sure. You're not too sure.
Definitely, you know in politics that whenever all these guys are coming around, they will tell us.
I don't think we would actually...
you never can tell, you're not too sure of that information.
Have basis for that.
Okay, there might be no basis, but if you watch, anytime there is a political rally or whatever, you definitely
everyone shows up.
Everyone shows
up.
And our hotels are filled up. And then our drivers who are
hospitality. Okay, on a lighter note, like you're talking about, you already brought us to the old patronage era.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that men who patronize these girls are smiling at the moment? What do you think?
Okay, and that's another aspect. There are people, I've seen some people, because I've been in politics, I've seen some people during some political activities that they have said they cannot stay a night.
No, aside political area, we're not tying this issue to politicians.
I'm using that as a reference.
General men, random people who patronize these ladies. Yes. On a lighter.
I mean, we saw a guy crying on the internet, and he was angry that what the government did
is wrong.
He was crying.
Yes, because like I want to say, I saw someone telling me that he cannot spend a night without a woman by his side.
I guess you have to spend the night now. Now to empty Ms. Rickers, as a woman also, now do you think these ladies also on their own, do you think they're, I know some of them are very defensive, especially when we had an interview with, we had a news report actually on this issue as of last weekend, and it was done by Best in Gary, and I'm sure we could chip that in.
All right, let's quickly take a look at that interview.
Okay. Right. Let's have the news report of Best in Gary on the ban of sex workers.
Ihama Road in the GRA Benin City is usually busy at night due to the activities of commercial sex workers and those who patronize them. When the news crew visited the area on Friday night, the place was devoid of the activities of sex workers, but few relocated to the adjoining streets, hiding in the dark. It was learned that their decision to stay off the major roads is due to a recent raid in the area by concerned authorities.
This is Asotan Ihama.
At night, Country Home Road, PZ, and popular Ugbagwe Street off Mission Road in Benin City, known for prostitution, were deserted, an indication that the commercial sex workers may have relocated for fear of arrest. Some members of the public expressed divergent views on the planned decision to abolish prostitution in the streets of Benin City. While some commended the state government for the laudable decision, others said the government should rehabilitate the sex workers.
Say the country get as it be, no mean say me person go out there, you understand? Me person go the package those kind of stuff.
They carry them as a cap now. We don't say we a cap, we take the hustle for nights. They make us they get small tea then. They also make government find solution for them where they will feed it to the follow. Don't just pursue them, come for street like that.
Government go stop and go give them work now. Everywhere they dry. Everybody try to hustle. Everybody try to survive himself. So not just to stop and to provide something for them. Nobody will like to use the body make money.
According to a school of thought, prostitution is an age-long practice.
Prostitution is illegal in all northern states of Nigeria. The practice, the Islamic Penal Code. In other regions of the country, activities of pimps, underage prostitution, and operators of brothels are penalized under Section 223, 224, and 225 of the Criminal Code. Even though Nigeria do not allow the legalization of commercial sex, and of course it's not in the law, it is vague that those who independently involve in this act could be penalized because sometimes such cases are not proven in the law court. However, Edo State government says it is determined to rid the street of commercial sex workers so that Benin City, which is the capital of Edo State, will actually reflect a capital of a state. From Obavaram Esquare in Benin, Best Mbiere reporting.
All right, that was Best Mbiere with the report on commercial sex worker ban. Now let me come back to you now, relationship coach. Don't you think the impact, the effect, the health effect is the reason why, one of the reasons why the government felt, all right, let's take these girls off the streets?
Well, that I think it's one of the reasons, and if that's actually the reason why the government, yes, if that's actually the reason why the government wants them out of the street, it's a very good one. It's a very good one. But what we are saying here is, you can decide and say, okay, I don't want this thing here, but what are your actual plans? Because look at our street now. Many of them are littered. So we have to be very, very, will I say, holistic about this. There must be proper orientation even to families, to wives, that treat husbands as if, well, whether you like it or not, you are your own. There must be proper orientation to parents. Parents that will even tell their children, what are you still waiting for? Your mates are out there.
Okay.
There must be, the orientation must go round. And then these girls, now coming back to these girls, how do we rehabilitate them? Morally, spiritually, because some of them are bound. You need to bring in clergymen to help these girls and, you know, pray them out of this influence. Many of them are under very strong influence.
It's a spiritual thing now.
Like more spiritual than physical?
The spiritual controls the physical. We must get it right.
All right.
The spiritual controls the physical. Whatever happened in the physical was first of all happened in the spiritual. So if you like, okay, let's just do a surface thing. The root is still there.
Okay. All right, let's get to the wisdom. Now, we saw a cabman complaining, and according to him, these girls are some of their customers in court.
Especially in the night time.
In the night. And to an extent, it's going to halt business activity for them. It's going to stop cash flow.
Especially in the axis where they're always found.
Yes, like Ihama Road and other parts. So what is your take on this?
Actually, I wouldn't support the cabman because two wrongs cannot actually make it right. The fact that we are trying to advocate for them, the way the matter is being handled, does not mean that we are trying to justify prostitution.
Yeah.
Yes, because if you watch in the society today, a lot of younger girls are already going into it, and then the influence is spilling up into different members of families, and then it's almost becoming a trend. So yes, government has taken a very good step, but the action plan is where we are faulting. The action plan, the approach, the strategy is what they have not been able to get correctly. First of all, there are no rehabilitation centers. Second of all, there are no people, specialists that have been consulted, and then there are no plans on ground. Take for example, if government was coming here to say, okay, people who are so and so, we are inviting you. We are not going to harass you or molest you, but please, we want you to come to so and so. We have plans for you. These people need skills. They need vocational skills, and they need to understand that after getting those vocational skills, they can be empowered. And then once they're empowered, they can be coached. And then they can see even other members that have...
But the state government have a plan on ground. Edo state government have Edo Job. It's a scheme that creates job opportunity for youths in the state.
Have you been at the center lately?
Well, I visited them. I visited when it was flagged up.
Okay, yes, that's the problem. Because when something is flagged up in Nigeria, it looks very interesting. But after a while, because of maybe management or something like that, you know, and you know, sometimes let's say people who run some of these things, if you use the wrong people to run some of these professional systems, definitely.
Okinebo Dare, the MD, has been doing her best.
Okay.
She's the MD of the scheme, and I think they've been doing their best.
So that center can be consulted as part of the people that will handle the rehabilitation process. There are other places, other people who have interest, NGOs that are working to rehabilitate these people. Government can also work with them to make sure these people, and there are people who can contact them directly without even harassing them. There are people who can go to where they stay during the day and talk to them. They will listen, and then they will come, they will join. Once they know this is what government is planning for you, we're interested in you. Do you know in US, for example, there are security agencies that are into pets, animals. Police, but their job is to handle animals. It's just animal department. So here, government can create certain departments to handle the rehabilitation of such kind of persons, and then it will be very wonderful.
So, Ms. Rickers, do you think the outright ban will actually make the whole rehabilitation process a bit difficult? Like the outright ban, the fact that they are already asked out of the street. Now, since people are clamoring for them to be rehabilitated, now, do you think it's going to make them more defensive against, you know, bringing themselves for rehabilitation?
It's about a good action plan, just like we are discussing. There are some of us, by reason of the kind of work or job we do, we can engage these people, even if they're in the street.
So you feel like it would have been better if they were, you know, more soft-pedaled into the whole process?
Well, it would have been better. That's why we're here talking that some things would have been put in place before now. Yeah. But even though we are at this stage now, the whole case is not hopeless. Okay. It's not hopeless. It's just for the government to, you know, liaise with some persons who are specialists in this area. And these girls, they are human beings. They are human beings with feelings. You'll be surprised they'll be out. Listen, when somebody knows you have the good or his or her good at heart, okay. Like when some time ago we were clamoring and we were like, okay, our youth should stop going through land, going abroad, and then come home and we have something good for you. They started coming when they know that, hey, these people have our good at heart.
They've seen.
Yes. So it's not one thing we must avoid now. Let's not condemn them. Let's not condemn them. Let's not, how will I put it now, stigmatize them. I was with somebody recently, and then he was like, hey, look at them, they're all over the whole place, you know, very bomb shot and all of that. Of course, you see them everywhere. Don't stigmatize them, you know. Let's see how we can rehabilitate this, because if we don't, this is just the beginning. Many homes will suffer. Many homes will suffer. You know, I don't know how a wife will tend to curtail a husband who have been out with a whore. And you are that kind of woman that wants to, this kind of, you are not informed, and this man keep dragging minor issues, emotional issues with you. You keep going around the same cycle. You keep giving an excuse why you cannot. And this man have been out there. You are in problem.
But don't you think this ban will take some of these men back home permanently?
And don't you think wives out there are happy right now?
Well, they're happy, but it's the beginning of the whole thing, because if they are out, I'll tell you that some of these people who give them patronage, they will still have a way to corner these girls, even though they're in the street. I'm just telling you the truth. Yes, I'm just telling you the truth.
Let's get to wisdom, Elder, now. Do you think this process will take a longer time? Or do you think it's something that has come to stay, in your opinion?
All right, going by government strategy or way of placing ban and all this while, you know, after the ban, it will take a while. Yes, security agencies will start arresting. After a while, people will start devising strategies on how to sort out the security agencies. And then after a while, people will start devising strategies on how to settle some people. I'm being realistic here.
Of course.
I know I'm on TV, but I'm telling you the truth. After a while, most centers will begin to settle some people. After a while, they will begin to know the places they can go and the places they cannot.
So they will strategize.
Yes, and then maybe security people will begin to use them to also generate.
So are you saying the security agencies who are saddled with the responsibility of getting them off the street, they might end up compromising this process?
No, I'm just using the previous bans to give you a clue on what definitely
what we should expect.
Yes, what is going to result into. Very soon they will be arrested, and then they will be bailed, and then some of them will start looking for the places they can operate without being caught, and some of them will know some security people that can always give them a pass, and then gradually some centers, which some hotels will start sorting some security people heavily so that they will not disturb their...
Like more done discreetly, like more...
Yes, it will be like that until the consciousness of the government dies off from it.
Okay.
Probably you see
the same cycle.
Let's begin to put a wrap on this, okay, so that we can quickly go into the next segment this morning. What is the way out? Let me start with you, our therapist.
Well, the way out, like I said before, it's that the government, they're already on the right direction, but they should sit again and give a rethink on how to help these girls. Some of them are our daughters, some of them are our friends, some of them are our sisters. So how, if your person is to be among this person that we are here discussing about, will you just throw them in the street and they are roaming up and down, all of that? No, you think of, I mean, people have mad people as children. They keep them in their homes. They make sure they take care of them until they are able to, get off that state. So let's think of how we can help these girls. Let's not stigmatize them. Let's not take advantage of them. Let's not do anything to harm them. But let's see how we can bring them out. And let's consult. There are people that can help these girls. I just hope the government will consult the right people to help these girls and not consult people who will further join the girls to do the harm they are already doing.
And to you, sir.
All right, I think we should discontinue the habit of putting a square peg in a round hole, getting the wrong people to do some jobs that are actually supposed to be laudable, because I know the government had some people that actually pushed for this. So I think the right people should always be given the opportunity to really address some things. Like you talked about the skills center. There are people who handle such things, and a lot of people will be talking about it. In fact, the governor people will be hailing him, you understand? So people should not be skeptical about contacting the right people who can help them to carry out some of these activities. And then the processes, we should understand that these processes are actually there to help us as government, as well as helping the people, so that they will not misconstrue the purpose and the intent of our actions.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you very much for coming.
Okay, we'll quickly take a short pause now and make way for our second segment on the show this morning. Don't go nowhere.